Right now, you're losing power. Not because you're weak, not because you lack intelligence, not because you don't deserve respect. You're losing power because you keep explaining yourself. Every extra word you speak chips away at your authority. Every unnecessary clarification lowers your perceived value. Every attempt to make them understand quietly places you beneath them. You think you're communicating, but they think you're justifying. And the moment you begin to justify yourself, you've already surrendered control. Because understand this clearly, powerful people are not constantly explaining themselves. They are not rushing to defend their decisions. They are not desperate to be understood. They are observed, they are interpreted, and most importantly, they are felt. But you keep answering questions that were never asked with respect. You keep offering explanations to people who never intended to understand you. You keep trying to win approval from those who gain power by withholding it. And every explanation you give feeds them more control over you. You were taught that honesty builds trust, that being open makes you respected, that explaining yourself makes things fair. And maybe in an ideal world that would be true. But this is not an ideal world. This is a world where perception matters more than truth, where confidence outweighs correctness, where silence often speaks louder than logic. And in the wrong environment, honesty doesn't make you respected. It makes you predictable. You were trained to believe that clarity creates connection, but no one told you the darker truth. Some people don't want clarity. They want leverage. They listen not to understand you, but to collect information. Every word you reveal becomes a tool. Every detail becomes potential ammunition. Not immediately, but eventually. They store your words. They analyze your patterns. They wait for the right moment. And when it comes, they use your own transparency against you. You're not losing because you're wrong. You're losing because you're too open, too available, too explainable, too readable. And transparency is a currency predators exploit. They don't respect your explanations. They measure your need to explain. And need is weakness in power dynamics. The more you explain, the more you reveal that you seek validation. The more you justify, the more you expose your fear of being misunderstood. And the moment someone senses that fear, they gain control. Because approval is the easiest leash to pull. Centuries ago, one man understood this better than anyone. A man feared not because he lied, but because he told truths others were too afraid to admit. His name was Machiavelli. He didn't teach morality, he taught reality. He didn't describe how the world should work, he revealed how it actually works. A world where perception dominates truth, a world where power rewards restraint, a world where silence is strategy. He observed something most people still ignore. People don't respect explanations. They respect certainty. They respect control. They respect those who speak less but mean more. Lesson 1. Silence creates authority. Look closely at any room full of people. Who is being watched the most? Not the loudest person, not the one constantly speaking, not the one explaining every detail. It's the quiet one. The one who speaks only when necessary, the one who listens more than they react, the one who doesn't rush to fill the silence, because silence signals control. When you are comfortable being silent, you show that you are not dependent on attention. You show that you are not chasing approval, and that makes people uneasy, because humans are wired to interpret silence as power. When you speak less, people lean in more. When you say less, every word carries weight. When you pause, you create tension, and tension creates attention. Try this. Next time you're in a conversation, don't rush to respond. Pause. Let silence sit for a moment. Watch how people react. They will start filling the gap. They will reveal more than they intended. And without saying much, you gain information. You gain control. Lesson 2. Over-explaining signals insecurity. Think about the last time someone questioned you. Maybe they challenged your decision. Maybe they doubted your intent. Maybe they simply asked, why? What did you do? You explained. Then you explained more. Then you added extra details just to be safe, because your brain was trying to protect your image.
But here's what actually happened. Every extra word made you look less certain, less confident, less powerful. Over-explaining is not clarity. It's fear. Fear of being judged, fear of being misunderstood, fear of losing approval. And people can feel that, even if they don't consciously realize it. Instead, pause, answer briefly, and stop. Let your words stand on their own, because confidence doesn't need decoration. Lesson 3. Questions are often tests. Not every question is innocent. Some questions are designed to probe you, to test your boundaries, to see how far they can push you. You feel pressure to answer everything. That pressure is not accidental. It's strategic. When someone asks you something uncomfortable, notice your instinct. You want to explain, you want to justify, you want to prove yourself. But that reaction gives them exactly what they want: control. You don't have to answer every question. You don't owe everyone access to your thoughts. You don't need to explain every decision. Sometimes the most powerful response is a pause, a look, and silence. Lesson 4. Mystery builds influence. When people can fully predict you, they stop respecting you, because predictability removes intrigue. And without intrigue, there's no influence. When you explain everything, you leave no room for interpretation, no room for curiosity, no room for imagination. But when you hold back, people start wondering, they start analyzing, they start paying attention, and attention is power. Mystery creates value. Scarcity creates demand, and silence creates both. Lesson 5. Not everyone deserves access. You treat honesty like a virtue, and it is, but only in the right environment. Not everyone deserves full access to you. Not everyone deserves your explanations. Not everyone deserves your truth. Some people use honesty against you. Some people twist your words. Some people wait for you to reveal just enough so they can use it later. Protect your information. Protect your thoughts. Protect your silence. Because once something is said, it can't be unsaid. Lesson 6. Power is controlled expression. Power is not about saying more. It's about saying less with intention. Every word you speak should have purpose. Every sentence should carry weight. Every silence should feel deliberate. When you control your words, you control your image. When you control your image, you control how others treat you. And when you control how others treat you, you control your reality. Final truth. You were never weak. You were just too available, too explainable, too easy to read. But that changes now. From this moment forward, you don't speak to be understood. You speak when necessary. You don't explain to gain approval. You let your actions define you. You don't answer every question. You choose what deserves a response. Because real power is not loud. It's not desperate. It's not constantly explaining itself. Real power is calm, controlled, and silent. If you understand this, then say nothing and let your silence speak for you.